What's going on, guys? Ronin here, and welcome back to the channel. So we got today part 9 of What If I Wrote Pokemon Anime. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the analytical stat bar right here. You guys already know the drill. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and don't forget to drop a like and a comment to feed the algorithm, please. But with all that being said, let's get into part 9 of What If I Wrote the Pokemon Anime, and I really hope you guys enjoy this one. We begin today's part with our heroes as they make their way to the Vermillion Pier. The destination is the grand ship titled the SS Anne. Ash has one thing on his mind, tracking down Surge and getting his rematch. However, one thing becomes obvious very quickly once the trio begins to board the ship. They don't have any tickets and are refused entry by the ticket checker. Ash begins to plead with the man, telling him about Surge and his rematch. However, the man stands firm. No ticket, no entry. Ash begins to argue as Misty and Brock begin to survey the surrounding area. Maybe there is a place selling tickets at the last minute. Unfortunately, the two quickly realize that the ticket office is closed, signaling that they are out of luck. Turning to tell Ash, they now see him struggling to get past the guard, much to the embarrassment of Misty and Brock. However, Ash is able to make his way past the man and up the ramp. Now frustrated with the boys' repeated attempts at entry, guards are called, resulting in Ash promptly being thrown off the boat, kicking and screaming right into the crowd of people as he is being told not to come back unless he has a ticket. As the boy comes crashing down from the Olympic level toss that he was just given, Ash lands on someone, causing Misty and Brock to finally get involved. Picking up both Ash and the boy, Brock dusts off the young man, while Misty begins to yell at Ash for making a scene and hurting someone in the process. Ash realizes his action may have resulted him in great harm, so he turns to apologize for the problems that he has caused, only to stop as the boy looks at him in tandem. "You," they both yell with an echo. "Why are you here?" Brock and Misty look in confusion, not really understanding what's happening, but things are quickly come to a light when they both yell each other's name. "Ash! Go!" Helping the boys up, Brock asks if they know each other. Ash tells Brock about the summer camp they were all in and how Go did nothing but complain. He was a pain the whole time. However, Go chimes in saying that the only reason he was complaining is because Ash got them lost in a forest. However, Ash, upset by this comment, says at least he doesn't claim to have seen a Pokemon that doesn't exist. "That's all you would talk about that night. Me and the other kids got so tired of hearing it, we just ignored you." This triggers Go, bringing back the memories of that lonely night. Ever since then, he had some trouble making friends because people look at him as the weird kid. Anger begins to fill Go's face, but is quickly stopped when he notices Pikachu on Ash's shoulder. "Wait, you have a Pokemon he questions?" "Who, Pikachu?" "Yeah, it was my first, given by Professor Oak." This causes Go to go silent for a moment. All he wants is to go out on his own adventure, but he's only 9 and can't qualify for a Pokemon license. It's here Ash apologizes for landing on Go once he sees the reaction to finding out about Pikachu. He didn't mean to hurt him. Go begins to speak, but is interrupted by the sound of the boat horn making the last call for boarding. "Darn it," Ash says. "I'm going to miss my chance for a gym battle." "Well, Ash, it looks like you will have to just wait until Surge comes back," Misty says with a snarky tone. Brock tells him there are other gyms to challenge, so there is no shortage of opponents. "Yeah, but I really wanted a rematch, especially after the way Surge talked down to me and Pikachu." This causes Go to speak up. "Well, maybe I can help. You see, I have these tickets here. Me and my parents, we were supposed to go on a day trip to the Seafoam Islands, but they had to cancel due to work." Go says, "Would you guys like to take them? They are all good for one ride only today." Looking at the tickets, Ash is left speechless, but Misty slaps him on the back of the head, saying if he still wants his rematch with Surge, this is his only option. "Are you sure?" Brock says. "We wouldn't want to get you in trouble." "It's no problem," Go responds. "My parents won't even know that they are gone. This isn't the first time they've canceled a trip on me, and it won't be the last." Brock accepts the tickets, with both Misty and him thanking Go. However, Ash is still silent. Why would he want to help them? All Ash did last time he saw Go was tease him. Brock and Misty both then scold Ash for his lack of response, causing him to sputter out a very confused thank you. However, Go and Ash are unable to talk as the SS Anne is beginning to close its boarding gate. "We gotta go," Brock says, "but thank you," as he drags Ash off to board the boat so he can get his rematch. Once on, Ash heads to the deck to look at Go, feeling bad about the way he treated him and thinking that the next time they are in Vermillion City, he's going to have to pay the boy back. From the pier, Go watches the ship disappear over the horizon, wondering to himself why did he just help Ash. While our heroes try and find their room on this massive ship, we get a chance to catch up with Surge and his trio of bumbling misfits. They are in the room that was assigned to them by the tickets. Unfortunately for the bunch, even though Giovanni is the regional champion, leader of Team Rocket, and a very wealthy man, he is still a cheapskate, having booked all of them for the cheapest passes that he could, leaving the four of them to share a room with one bed. Being the burly-sized man that he is, the gym leader has made himself at home on the bed, while Jesse, James, and Meowth cower in the corner. After what they did to the Vermillion gym and the outburst Surge had at them for wrecking his gym, the trio is wary of being in the same room as him, let alone the same ship. James and Meowth are scolding Jessie in a low murmur, as this is all of her fault. If she just didn't have to give Giovanni a piece of her mind, which she never did, Meowth points out, then they wouldn't be in this mess. This angers the redhead, who begins to push back at these two, reminding them who's in charge here. That's supposed to be Meowth, the Scratch Cat says, now angered that the two humans it was charged with are making the feline look more incompetent by the minute. However, James quickly corrects the two, saying, "I thought he was in charge," pointing to the seemingly snoozing gym leader. Jesse reminds James that he is just a follower, so his opinions don't matter. This causes an argument between the three that begins to increase in volume until they can feel a presence staring them down. Turning, Surge is giving them the old evil eye. "Listen, you three losers need to leave. I'm trying to get some shut-eye before the action happens, and you won't quiet down," he says in a very pissed voice. This causes the three to tense up, questioning where the lieutenant would like them to go. "I don't care," he says. "Just leave. I will call you three incompetent boneheads when I need you. Until then, make yourselves scarce." Not wanting to upset the gym leader any more than they already have, the three exit the room, bickering the whole way out about who was the cause of them getting kicked out, leaving Surge to wonder how he's always stuck with the dumbest in the rocket ranks. Walking down the hallway, the three continue to argue until James stops mid-sentence looking at a poster on the wall. Jesse begins to question James, asking if his small mind has finally shut down for good. However, Meowth points to the poster that is advertising a tournament on the ship that will be taking place during the course of the trip. This could be the chance to steal some high-level and valuable Pokemon, James remarks. This actually gets a reaction out of Jesse in the form of shock, as this is the first things James has said since coming to Vermillion that was an actually good idea. Now that the three have found something to do, they begin to make plans to line their trainer belts with some new assets. This brings us back to our heroes. Well, to Misty and Brock. They have made their way to the main floor of the ship only to find themselves registering in the tournament. "Man, Ash doesn't know what he's missing," Missy says. "It looks like there are a lot of strong trainers here." Brock seconds this, but they couldn't change Ash's mind. He is bent on getting that rematch and opted to search the ship high and low with Pikachu for Surge. So, Brock and Misty entered the single elimination tournament ready to flex their skills as some of Kanto's best type specialists. This brings us to Ash. He is searching everywhere he can think of on the ship. Right now, he is in the engine room, asking if anyone has seen a tall guy that's about 8 feet with sunglasses. However, the only response the boy gets is one of frustration when all of the crew members tell him to get out of this zone. It's too dangerous for a kid, and Ash is distracting them from working. Now kicked out of the lower decks, Ash makes his way through the ship, finding himself in the galley, the communication room, and then even the bridge, but he is met with the same answer of "get out" every time. It's getting to the point that Ash is beginning to think that Surge did not make the ship, as he and Pikachu walk through the main hall, catching a glimpse of Brock in a battle with a man with a top hat that is using Eradicate. Our hero eventually finds himself on the deck of the boat, looking out over the sunset. "Man, Pikachu, it looks like we really won't get that rematch after all," Ash says, as he pets the electric mouse behind the ears. Back in the room with Surge, he is having trouble sleeping ever since those three left the room. "Man, they really killed the relaxation I was having," he says. In hopes of tiring his brain out again and forgetting the incompetent threesome, Surge decides to go for a walk to clear his head. After all, he will need to get as much rest as he can, as they are nearing the last known location of the target. Surge then leaves the room, letting Raichu out of its ball so it can get some fresh air. The two begin making their way up to the main deck, briefly stopping by the main hall to see two redheads in a heated battle with a Staryu and Ekans. "At least they ain't bothering me," he thinks to himself as he continues to the upper deck. However, once Surge arrives, he is greeted by a sight that he wasn't expecting. The kid from the gym. He must have followed me here. Great, how am I going to avoid this grenade? Unfortunately for the gym leader, there really isn't anything he can do, as both Pikachu and Raichu can feel the presence of each other's electricity, drawing Ash and his partner's attention to the Goliath of a man. "Surge!" Ash yells. "I thought I would never find you, but now that I have, we can have a rematch," the boy says energetically. However, Surge shuts this down right away, telling the boy that they had their battle and he lost, so they will not be having another one at this time. This is where Ash tries to pull the trump card of reporting Surge for refusal of battle. However, the leader quickly reminds Ash that that rule only applies in a gym. They are currently on a boat and Surge is just a regular person. He doesn't have to accept any challenges. Realizing he needs to be more drastic in his approach, Ash then pulls out the big guns. Well, if that's the case, then I guess I will have to follow you until you do. Now irritated by Ash, Surge begins to get aggressive with the boy, grabbing him by the shoulders and shouting to leave him alone. This gets the attention of some onlookers that question what's happening, only for Surge to realize that this is the last thing he wants. So, can we have a battle? Ash says with a smirk on his face. With a sigh, Surge relents. Anything for you to go away, kid. Yay, Ash yells. Let's do it right here on the deck. Surge agrees on one condition. If Ash loses, then he won't challenge him again, ever. Ash agrees, happily to finally test out his new strategy with Pikachu. Since it's already out and has already won before, Surge decides to use his ace, Raichu. The two take the positions on opposite ends of the deck as a small crowd begins to form to watch what seems to be an intense battle. Back in the main hall, the tournament is in full swing. Misty and Brock have made their way to the semifinals, having both just beat some pretty lackluster trainers with only one Pokemon each, a Coughing and an Ekans, which was pretty dumb on their part, as this was supposed to be a 2 Pokemon per battle tournament. However, Misty and Brock don't mind, as if they both win their next matches, then they will be in the finals. Over with Jesse and James, they are both being talked down to by Meowth for this stupid idea of theirs. It seems like neither one of them really thought it through, since they didn't take the time to read the rules. They are both lousy trainers and even worse Team Rocket grunts. In her normal fiery disposition, Jessie responds in kind, picking a fight with the feline, asking if it's so great, then why didn't it get out there and help them in the battles? After all, it is a Pokemon. But the Scratch Cat simply responds he is the brains of this group, reminding Jessie that they work for him and not the other way around. And it's high time the girl remembered that. This triggers things to get physical with the two as James finds himself pondering the problem at hand. They are not strong enough to win a basic battle, let alone steal high-level Pokemon from other trainers. Coughing, while great, can't do the work of 6 Pokemon all the time. Maybe it's time that he starts adding new friends to the roster. Then, as if the universe is listening in on James's thoughts, a man beckons him over with the promise of power and riches if he simply purchases one of these golden Magikarp. While James isn't the smartest man, he knows that Magikarp is one of the weakest Pokemon in existence, telling the vendor that he is onto his scam. However, the man takes offense to this, explaining that if just one Magikarp can lay up to 1,000 eggs at a time, then James could make a mint if he were just to breed it and sell off the pedigree fish, and the offspring could generate a pretty penny. Then James could keep only the best ones for himself. This would give him power beyond his imagination. Suddenly, James envisions himself sitting atop a pile of gold as the leader of his own evil team. The allure of this is far too tempting, and with the look of a desperate man, James asks how much. Moments later, the purple-haired man joins Jesse and Meowth to interrupt their fighting, yelling to them to stop. James says he has the solution to all of their problems. Then he cracks open the ball, revealing the flailing fish, and explains the plan that the vendor had given James. They don't have to worry anymore. At this point, Jesse and Meowth have stopped fighting, telling James that he's an idiot and that guy sold him a lemon. That fish is useless. James tries desperately to defend his purchase as the other 2 Rocket cohorts begin to laugh uncontrollably at this. But once they finish, Jesse remarks that she is hungry and asks James for the money so she can go get some food. However, that's going to be a slight problem as James reveals he spent all of their money to buy Magikarp. Now burning with anger, Jessie begins to unleash her fury upon the dim-witted buffoon. Back on the deck, the battle with Ash and Surge is in full swing. While Raichu is very powerful and mastered a lot of its high-level attacks, there is one thing that it never had a chance to learn. This is on full display as the frustration on Surge's face is beginning to build. His ace can't seem to hit Pikachu. No matter what the gym leader tries, the smaller mouse is just out of range of its evolution to hit. This is where Ash comments that Surge is looking a little flustered. Come on, Pikachu isn't that hard to hit. After all, they won no problem last time. Well, if you would just stay still and fight like a real trainer, then this would have been over already. This causes Ash to cackle a little bit. Brock was right. You never took the time to teach Raichu the speed abilities it can only learn as a Pikachu, so you will never catch us. Now, Pikachu, use agility. The mouse blurs across the battlefield once more, creating clones as its speeds is increased. Realizing his Thunder evolution is beginning to tire, Surge decides one desperate plan to end this. Raichu, use Thunder. Strike everything in sight. As it begins to spark, wild charges of electricity begin to strike everything on deck. It's so bad that for their own safety, the crowd that had gathered begins to take cover inside of the ship for protection. Pikachu is no different, as despite being much faster, the mouse finds itself staring down a rogue bolt, ready to end its path to victory. Ash realizes they can't dodge this, so he orders the only thing that he can, a Thunder Shock, in an attempt to block the electricity. Charging everything it has, the mouse fires, colliding with the more superior superior of the two moves. Right away, it's obvious that Pikachu is going to lose this encounter. Raichu just has too much voltage for the mouse to handle. However, there is one thing that Pikachu has that the evolution does not: tenacity. As it continues pushing far longer than both Surge and Ash expected it, all of this lightning that is flying around begins to attract the storm clouds that have been brewing above the ship for some time. Before anyone knows it, there is a monsoon of high winds and rain. But still, neither mouse falters. This is anyone's game. That is, until the clouds begin to discharge striking lightning that are hitting the deck at every point. Then the unthinkable happens. Pikachu begins to lose its war with the evolution. Smiling, Surge says it's about time, only for one of the stray lightning strikes to crash down on Ash's starter. This forces something primal inside of it to awaken, as it bursts with more electricity than it has ever been capable of. This allows Pikachu to push back once more, giving it enough juice that would need to begin to see Raichu spark erratically as it is consumed by the attack of its stage 1 evolution. Exhausted from the battle, Raichu collapses under its own weight, bringing it to a close. Both Surge and Ash are surprised about this outcome, that Pikachu was able to topple Raichu because of the difference in electricity power. However, Surge accepts this defeat, recalling his mouse and presenting Ash with the Thunder Badge. Surge then congratulates Ash. It looks like his Pikachu was able to unlock a new move and upgrade in its Thunder Shock into a Thunderbolt. That seems to be the reason why it was able to overtake Raichu due to its exhaustion. Surge then tells Ash it was very clever to use the fact that his Raichu never used its speed attacks to his advantage. However, don't think that that tactic will work again if they battle in the future. Ash, however, isn't really paying attention to Surge, as he's distracted as he's pinning his new badge in his vest pocket. However, both him and Surge are going to get a rude surprise when the electric meter that Giovanni gave Surge starts to beep erratically as the storm clouds above the ship begin to surge, and from it descends a creature that is sparking with electricity far greater than both Pikachu and Raichu would be capable of together. Ash has no idea what this thing is, pulling out his Pokédex only to get a registration error. This Pokemon has never been discovered before. However, Surge knows exactly what this thing is, as it and the lieutenant stare each other down, as if they have some sort of history together. However, the look in this bird's eye is seemingly evil, as it has one thing in its sights: Surge. And the gym leader knows that he can't take this thing on alone, so he readies a Pokeball, ready to release him on. However, this triggers the bird to let out the largest lightning strike that it possibly could, that strikes the deck of the boat, driving a hole straight through the center of it, causing it to begin to flood with water. Now taking on water, the ship begins to sink rapidly, putting a halt to the finals that Brock and Misty are in. The last thing anybody sees is the boat capsizing as everyone makes their way to any point of exit, trying to escape the tomb that's headed for the bottom of the sea. As the boat begins to capsize, the last thing that Ash notices is the bird flying away into the sky as Surge is swept into the sea, dragged down to the depths, seemingly gone forever. And this, my friends, is where we are going to leave things for now. So tell me, how did you think about this part? How did you feel about the gym battle between Surge and Ash? Do you feel like this one was a little bit more justified than what we got in the anime? How do you feel about Team Rocket and the revelation that if they hope to get anywhere or have any chance of telling Giovanni off, they're going to need some new Pokemon? And what about Brock and Misty? Are they going to be able to make it to Ash in time before the boat completely sinks? And of course, that Pokemon that attacked, why couldn't the Pokédex register it? Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments down below. Trainers, I hope you got your Pokédexes ready, because the Pokemon we met today are Magikarp and Zapdos. And that's all we had for today's video. I really appreciate you guys stopping by to watch all the way to the end, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. If you guys really enjoy my content, consider following me on some of my other platforms like Discord, where you can get to know other people who are interested in what ifs, or on Twitter, where I post sometimes behind the scenes updates. Or if you want to help the channel grow a little bit extra, why don't you consider donating like the people right here have, as whatever you could offer could help us get to a larger audience by helping us get new videos done, or some of the projects that or custom art is getting kind of expensive. So we want to make sure that we have the funds to do that. But with all that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed everything, and I will see you in the next video.